What is up, Entree fam? Welcome to Friday Live Day here, where we're going to have our very first interview. I cannot wait to introduce you to our guest in just a little bit. If you're brand new to Entree Woman TV, I am Diana Gladney, your wonderful host. And tonight we're going to be interviewing Alex Minor, filmmaker, family man, and YouTuber, to say the least. So tonight, we're going to be talking about the power of storytelling. And if you aren't familiar with what storytelling is, it's the thing that keeps you captivated in any movie, or it makes you fall off and say that the movie was terrible or horrible. And that trickles down to the videos that you do in your business and anything like that. So if you're brand new here, make sure you definitely consider subscribing, because we do talk about different tech tips where I review the equipment and the things that you may need to get started in online video, as well as small business development tips like we'll be talking about tonight. It's kind of a little bit of a mishmash between the two. And if you want to join that notification squad, make sure you ring the bell down below. But otherwise, every Friday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, we rock these kinds of videos, have a little community time here with the Entree fam. So if you are live or on the replay, thanks for being here. We'll have our guest on in just a few minutes. Let me make sure everything is good to go with the stream, because you can't trust YouTube's own backup live streaming system. It doesn't quite work the way you want it to all the time. But far as I can tell, everything looks good. Let me just make sure I can hear and see, and you can hear and see me, and we're mano y mano. But to save the integrity of tonight's stream, we're going to make sure that we keep it maybe about 30 minutes-ish, so you can kind of come back to this stream. Make sure you're taking notes and have any questions that you have dropped in. We do have Super Chat available, so if you want to support my coffee habits, if you want to just contribute to the community in any way, if your heart moves you, make sure you go ahead and drop that Super Chat. But otherwise, let's see who we have here thus far. Let me make sure I'm hearing everything okay. Hopefully it doesn't come through the headphone, or it does come through the headphones and not. All right. We're good. Wonderful. So unfortunately, unlike most streams, at least for this stream in particular, we're just going to be using YouTube. So usually I'm able to put your name and your comment up above or on the screen and all of that good stuff. That won't be the case tonight, but chat window is open and available. So if you're watching this on the replay, you can make sure you go back and you'll be able to see the chat along the sidebar. And hopefully the next time I have an interview or a guest here, then I'll be able to go ahead and feature you guys that way. So we got Mr. Michael Simmons live. So I can't say the man, the myth, the mystery, because I wanted to say that bringing on Alex, but you know, hey, it is what it is. And then we have another Michael on the stream, Mike here. So we got two Michaels in the house. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you so much. We have Simply Sherry. If you guys haven't checked out Simply Sherry's channel, a lot of great things. If you're messy, disorganized, and you need a little help in your life, so Sherry is the go-to person. He said, glad that I caught you live. I'm glad that you're here, Sherry. It's really, really heartwarming to have you part of the Entree Woman TV family. We are just waiting a few minutes for our guest to hop on. But when it comes to live streaming and it comes to content, whatever type of content that you're doing, whether it's live streaming, uploaded videos, whether you are just doing tutorials and you're showing and you're sharing just any type of content in general, you know, you can say, what does storytelling have to do with me? What does storytelling have to do with maybe, you know, you're going to do editing tutorials on something like Adobe Premiere Pro or, you know, Final Cut Pro or whatever. You say, how am I supposed to tell a story with that? Well, when it comes to storytelling, you have to understand that everything is a story. Everything has a character who wants something. They encounter some kind of conflict and they're trying to get to some kind of specific outcome. There are, you know, story frames that, you know, that are very short. And then there are those that are pretty long when it comes to like the sequence of events. But essentially, the basic story framework is you have a character who wants something. They encounter some type of problem in the pursuit of the thing that they want. Sometimes they encounter a guide like a Yoda, like I was about to say a Han Solo, but he's not a guide at all. It would have been the Yoda. Um, or like, what's the guy's name off of Harry Potter? That the long beard, Gandalf the Grey. That's who he was. Came back as Gandalf the White. So, so Gandalf the Grey. They have somebody that helps that hero along, and so you have to figure out what your positioning is when it comes to uh, where your customer is in their customer journey. So no matter what type of story framework you're talking about, you're having a character who wants something and they're encountering a problem. So you have to figure out and understand where is that character, that person encountering the problem. When it comes to channel like Entree Woman TV, the person is coming in from the perspective that I have a business, or I'm, getting ready to start a YouTube channel. I have something, some passion, something maybe outside of the framework of my 9-to-5 job that I really want to participate and do something different. I want to, start a community center. I want to work with the elderly. I want to help get, women and children that are in danger, get them off the street and other situations. So you're coming to the place to where you're trying to, like I was trying to do this week. And, I'm getting ready to start a second podcast with some friends. Actually, it'd be my personal third one, their first one, I think. But, getting ready to start a podcast, something that's between 3 to 4 people. As common as podcasts are, you would think that it's easy to set that up or just to get instructions. It's really not. So if you're in that space, please do more tutorial videos, because I'm a character who wants something. I want to do this podcast that's, going to be, helping to be within the Christian faith and help, reach out and do all kinds of stuff and just make it simple, make life simple, explain things that are so complex and make it simple, very laid back, right? So we're trying to do this thing. And so we're encountering a problem, which is how to set the podcast up with 3 to 4 people, because a podcast setup could be just like this, a camera if you want one, microphone, computer, you're good to go. But it's different, the complexity becomes different when you're incorporating multiple people. So it's like, okay, well, it's like, again, is that really a story, or is that just a problem or a thing or something like that? It's both, because again, everything is a story. And so now, continuing with this particular example, I'm a character who wants something, starting the podcast, have my reasons why. And then I'm encountering this problem. So your tutorial videos, if that's what you're doing, or your videos about that specific equipment, whatever that thing is, I need to figure out, is this going to work for me? I have questions all surrounding it. So even tutorial videos, even like you have Simply Sherry that's in the communities in the chat right now, where she's doing videos on organization, mostly, I'm sure her audience made up of mostly women. We're encountering a problem after maybe we bought the house, after maybe we've moved in and we bought stuff that didn't kind of work. And it's like, well, are round glass jars the right thing for me? Or it's just like, you think it's simple and that it's not it doesn't have a place, but in essence, it really does. Because just something simple as going from a round jar in your cabinet to a square jar, it takes the frustration out. So I'm encountering you, the guide, that's helping me to get to the end result of what I want. So just to understand it, just to give you a framework and a basis of just what an actual story is, just and knowing where you may fit in, then that's where you're going to fit. That's how the people are going to come to know who you are, search that question in YouTube. And that's how you can kind of incorporate, storytelling and just all of that with online video, marketing, business, and all that stuff. All righty. So let me message our guest here. We having a little technical difficulties getting them on for just a moment. So give me just 1 second here, guys. But if you guys have any questions, questions throughout as we're going through, I have some questions that I know I for sure want to ask him. But if you have any questions about just like, okay, I have a gaming channel, how am I telling a story through that? Or, I really want to become a public speaker. How am I telling a story through that? Or, how does that work? So you're talking about somebody that's had experience doing things from like a solo perspective to working in and with a team, to the point to where you're getting to where, and I'm not going to steal a shine, but getting to the point to where you're able to do some pretty awesome things. And that's somebody that you will have access to tonight. So don't think that any question is too simple or too complex. And whether you're watching this live or on the replay, after the live stream, make sure you drop your questions, comments down below. And Alex and I will both be down in the comments. All righty. So let's hop over to the chat. Let's see what we got going on here. So we have Cordero Turner. Welcome to the stream. Glad that you are here. And Simply Sherry saying, you said I have such a nice voice. Have you ever done voiceovers? No, because I tend to trip over my own words like that. So I've done my own audio programs before, but that's about it. But thank you. I appreciate it. Must be the coffee. Wonderful Colombian roast. So we have a quick question here. Again, just while addressing this, and I'll drop the timestamp down below for the replay once we jump to the actual interview with Alex, if it ties over into the next 2 or 3 minutes or something like that. So if you're watching this on the replay, then you can skip ahead. If you're live, then let's get to some questions real quick. So Cordero, let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. You said, how do you keep eye contact with the camera lens? I'm having trouble with that. Look straight at the lens, and like I'm talking to real people right now. You know, again, whether I'm speaking to the audience that will be here, or if you're watching this again for a second time, you know, I'm speaking to them as well. So you just look into it the same way you look at a person just normally. So that's the secret. You know, it's not just pretending you're talking to a person, but just really envisioning it and just going for it. So that's the only thing. So you said a podcast. Interesting. All righty. So we have Michael saying, I talk to my flip screen and act normal. If it helps, quick tip, if you are recording or you're doing videos or something like that, it does break the connection, since we're talking about storytelling in that framework. If I decide I want to look over here and I'm talking to essentially what is where the actual screen would be, then it's just like, now I'm no longer having connection with you. We lost connection. Just like if you're going through the boonies and you hit the wrong area, then you're not going to have connection. And then, you know, Siri or whoever else for your GPS will tell you have now been connected. So same thing when it comes to storytelling. You look at any videos, typically when you first getting started in video, you're going to have those kind of bumps in your creativity, stuff like that. You're sitting too hunched down, the mic's too close or too far away. And so, you know, just like finding those happy mediums. I always call it the RTEs. So it's basically the record to edit formats, maybe kind of jumping ahead right now. But the RTE essentially is I'm setting things up to record to edit. That's what that stands for. And so if I'm knowing and I've practiced and I've done what I call throwaway videos multiple times, what's going to happen is that I've found out what the right placement is, because this is a new microphone that I've had now for about 2 weeks. And so I've placed the mic differently. I've been testing all the other times that I wasn't doing a video. And I'll be sitting here and maybe I'm just scrolling through the internet and I may do an audio recording, or I'm doing my podcast and just doing different kinds of things. So I'm practicing to do it. Talk about, you know, maybe looking at yourself in the screen. Okay, that's fine. Practice doing a couple videos to make sure that your head is not cut off, or give yourself the first few minutes to do that. And then when it's time to really focus in, then you have to do that. After doing it for so long, you will come to trust just looking straight into the camera lens. You'll know that you charge the battery before, like your pre-recording setups and all of that. You know, you've taken time, make sure your battery is charged. You're starting off with an empty memory card so that you're more comfortable with going for it, or like using like an AC adapter. And I've done a video about that. I can link that up above, where, you know, I have unlimited power. I'm not recording actually anything with a memory card right now. So only thing I need to worry about if there's some kind of connection issue, or if my video freezes for whatever reason, and then I can switch to my USB camera that I have as a backup. So it's those kinds of things that, you know, kind of help you to stay focused on the content and the stuff like that. Again, taking it back to, you know, the whole power of storytelling. At no time, really, in a real movie like a Brad Pitt, you know, Angela Bassett or Angelina Jolie movie, at no time do they really turn to the camera and talk to you in the movie theater, unless it's like maybe a comedy or something like that. They are never breaking character. And that's the same thing that you have to think when you're presenting your information or sharing whatever it is that you're doing to whomever it is. You're connecting with that person. And so anytime you break connection with them to essentially connect with yourself on camera and look over, you kind of lost the show. You know, if you were right in the middle of The Matrix or any other movie and it's just getting good, he's just about to find out that he's Neo and that he's about to come back to life after, you know, Agent Smith blasts him away. You know, what if Lawrence Fishburne just turned to the camera and said, guess what's coming up in the next scene? It ruins it, you know, it ruins it. It breaks the whole thing. And so, you know, it's all these different elements that come into play when you're talking about, you know, again, crafting your message to make sure that you're able to connect with your people. So, all righty. So I'm just checking back in with Alex again. Apparently, he's having a little challenge. So hopefully he's able to hop on in the next couple minutes here. But again, still going to keep it pretty short. So again, guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, make sure you drop those in the chat as well. So we have Mr. Rob Fuzz in the house. Rob, good to see you. Glad that you are here. We're just talking about a little bit of the power of storytelling. So if you have any questions, make sure you drop those down below or over to the side, rather, in the live chat. Man, I love Colombian roast coffee. Super chats are available. So if you want to help contribute to that coffee habit, make sure you definitely drop that in. So let's see here. It says I'm the only one there. All right. So let's see if we can get them back in here, because Google, which I no longer trust and have faith in with this Hangout thing. Let me drop this over to him, and this is what happens when you go live. But you know, but otherwise, when it comes to the reason why I wanted to do this particular topic, like I said, everything is a story, whether it's from being a kid and, you know, you're hearing the stories from your parents, your grandparents, or whatever the case may be. They're sharing stories, whether it is, you know, if you believe, I guess it's kind of hard not to believe in cavemen, but can't say that I believe I came from a caveman. I feel I'm a little bit more mature than that, but as far as mentally, but it's just like, you know, it's like, so whatever the thing is, you know, wherever you're at, that's fine. Because obviously they existed. This is rabbit trailing so far, but but essentially, whether it's from that type of time frame and that type of human existence or human being, and then you translate into where now we have printed books, where I'm literally surrounded by books. Everything is a story. Everything is presented in a story framework. And again, if you're just joining us live, then, you know, I kind of talked about what the basic structure of a story framework is. And that's a character who wants something, who goes on a journey to get that thing. They encounter a problem. Typically, they encounter a guide that helps them get to the solution of that thing. So again, whether you're new to video, trying to figure out where your customer is on their customer journey, because again, when you think customer journey of whatever it is, then that's how you can figure out where does my content fit in and how can I really help them to achieve that thing. Or even if maybe you're not getting them to the end result, then you know, you have to know what that next place is. Again, I talked about, you know, me wanting to do a podcast, and I'm not sure, maybe you want to do something. You can definitely let me know where is, like, what's one thing that maybe you searched recently in the YouTube search bar that started with how to, or how do I. So if you search for anything like that, and how to or how do I is one of the most common search phrases in YouTube or on YouTube, which is the second largest search engine in the world, then, you know, you have to understand everybody's looking for some kind of a way of how do I and how can I do this thing, or however you need to phrase it. they're trying to figure out an answer to some place on the journey. So whether you're the guide and you're the Yoda, whether you're just that person that helps them to let them know, for Harry Potter, for example, if you watched any part of that movie, just stick to the first one. He's going in to pick a wand. It's different types of wands, as far as I can remember. Different ones kind of, I guess, maybe fit with different personality. Maybe the wand picks you, whatever that case is. Then, however it fits into the story. And we got Mr. Alex Minor on. Okay, I see we got him. All right, so we're good to
yeah. Sorry, it's a little chaotic, right? Oh Jesus!
No,
like if you can see things from my point of view right now, like I just smacked you in the head
no.
with part of my tripod.
Okay,
So
can everybody see and hear Alex? I want to make sure that he's coming through. Okay,
oh
hopefully.
shoot, see, I'm ruining the magic right now. There's a light back there. Let me.
Oh, the magic. Okay,
Can't reveal all the secrets. Can't reveal all the secrets.
The
All
hair
right.
light. The hair light stole the show.
Aperture
Okay.
featured it. Aperture gets featured once again.
Okay, got you. All right, can everybody see, hear Alex? Okay. Let's see here. Mr. Robin M, welcome to the stream. Glad that you are here. Okay, let me see if I can hit play here and make sure we're good.
Where am I? Okay.
Alrighty. All right.
Sorry,
So
I'm moving around the window. So
okay. Well, we'll give you a few more seconds. It's all good.
Okay, I just wanted to open up the chat in another window just so I could see it.
Okay.
And then yeah, it's like I just got, sorry if my face is like, but I just got back from Miami, like literally just got back from Miami. I was down there doing a gig today.
Okay.
And yeah, apparently Miami traffic on Friday afternoon trying to get out of Miami is all new levels of stupid.
Okay. Got you. Hey, it happens, but we got you here now. So I'm pumped that you're here. So guys, again, this is Mr. Alex Minor. And
what up?
Like I said, I'm just trying to refresh here. It's probably easier for me to check on my phone. Just to make sure everything's good, golden, ready to go. And alrighty, got the audio. Okay, great. Okay, so Alex, welcome to Friday Live Day. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. Like I've like this is actually like my first live stream interview sort of thing. So
okay, okay, awesome. Well, like I said, we're here to serve the audience. I'm just the transmitter to get you from here to there. So, all right. I'll just giving them the basis of, what storytelling is, how that works. And just like, no matter where you are in your, content that you're sharing, whether it's a tutorial based, whether you may be doing like docu-series or something like that, like storytelling is just like kind of prevalent anywhere. But before we jump into that, let's find out a little bit about you. I usually call Michael in the chat the man, the myth, the mystery, but you, the man, the myth, the mystery. Let us know a little bit of your background. I know you're a family man, a filmmaker, but let us know who Alex Minor is.
Alex Minor has been a lot of things over the years. I'm a rapper, producer, singer. Just I create different formats. In the last few years, it's been film heavily. Like I still think of myself as a rapper a lot of times, but
Okay.
I hardly have time to do any rapping these days. Although I did start a fire verse on the way back from Miami in my phone. So
okay, got you.
So
we'll be looking for that on.
I'm hoping to get back in the booth soon.
Okay.
Because I've got like half an album done, but I haven't been able to really touch it in like 2 years, and so like I'm way overdue for some recording.
Gotcha.
But back to what I do. Like I said, ever since I was young, I've been creating in some form of fashion. When it was elementary school, like I wrote little stories and poems. middle school, high school, started rapping and making beats. Was a music major in college, then a recording arts major when I left college and went to Full Sail. Uh, from that, I was in the news for a few years. Then I stumbled into being a freelance audio-visual technician,
Mm.
specifically audio engineer and video engineer. And I was also doing like studio recording engineering during all of that. I started doing that in high school just because I ain't have nobody to do it for me.
Got you.
So that's kind of been the theory of my life and kind of is what led me uh, on the twisty, windy road that's wound up with me being where I am now. Is just uh, pretty much never really having a big support system. As far as you always hear like stories of artists on the come up or creatives on the come up, and they've got like their lifelong friends who are like, yeah man, we believe in you, and,
Yeah.
and we're gonna be part of the
Yeah.
team, and we gonna help build you up, and we all gonna come up together. Well, like, I've had good friends that have been there all my life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not all my life. I kind my whole life thing is kind of weird, but
Yeah.
a good portion of my life. But the thing is, like, especially when it came to music, which has been like which was my main passion for so long. um I had too many people who also wanted to be successful at that around me.
Mm.
So like I've surrounded myself with too many like-minded people. So it's like everybody was trying to be a rapper or everybody was trying to be a producer, and instead of like me being the center and people being the support. Like, so I
Got
always
you.
had to learn to do things for myself. So like when I started rapping, it was I had friends who rap, but we didn't have anybody who made beats. So I was like, all right, I guess I gotta learn to make beats. Didn't have anybody who knew how to record. All right, I guess I gotta learn how to record.
Mm.
Um, and then through my professional career, it was like, oh, I want to learn how to do these certain things, like as far as video engineering and stuff, but I don't want to work full time for a company and slowly work my way up through the ranks and hope that they'll want to train me. I got to go out and find training myself.
Mm.
Um, so I found, through talks with a sort of mentor. I don't know if we're really close enough for me to call him a mentor, but he's kind of like, I guess, my AV spirit animal. This dude named Willie Brown, who was one of the only like black video engineers I met in my time doing AV. I talked to him and he was like, yo, you got to go to this company and you take this class. It's going to give you the basics of what you need. And then you go out and you start working, man, and you're going to be able to learn everything you need to know from there. And so I followed his advice, and, one training led to another. And now I got a bunch of certifications and companies give me work, and it works out. I've been doing it for like the last 8 years, 9 years, something like that.
Wow. So
And
it's been a hustle the whole way through.
yeah. The struggle is real. The hustle is real, and I haven't had a full time job since 2011,
Wow.
and and I and I truly believe that the only reason that I have seen the level of success that I have is because I walked away from having a full time job. And that's not to say walking away from a full time job is for everybody, but
Mm.
for me personally, like knowing that I had to go to one place every day and do one job, I was lazy. I was dialing it in. And partly that was because I figured out after a while that the job that I had, there was really no potential for growth. Like they told me
Mm.
that when I was coming in, that, oh, we
Yeah.
train from within, we like to promote from within, but they showed me that that wasn't the case.
Wow.
And so that made me get comfortable and made me get complacent. And when I suddenly figured out, after I quit, like, yo, if we don't work, we don't eat, like,
Mm.
that made me get on the grind and, like, sending emails, making phone calls, trying to talk to people, find out what companies were the good companies to freelance for,
Yeah.
and just like it made you hungry. um or at least it made me hungry. Everybody ain't cut out for it,
Mm.
which is not a diss. Like, people are just built different, but like that level of routine that having a full-time job
Yeah.
was made me complacent. It made me comfortable. It just, it didn't inspire, it didn't fuel ambition, even though I like to think I was ambitious. um I think I'm way more ambitious now than I was back then, and it is because every day, like, I'm fighting for a check.
Got you. So, man, there's so many things to unpack from that. So when you talk about the fact that like you had to make sure that you and your family, you ate and that you had the things that you needed. I'm guessing you kind of like one of those people where you got to back me. Well, I have to kind of feel the fire a little bit before I'm like, okay, let me move versus, potentially, because I hear that a little bit of proactiveness there, but it's just like, okay, I'm jumping in with both feet in and moving forward. And that's how I'm going to do what I need to do.
Yeah, and the thing that I've learned, the thing from hard fought experience and personally, and from
Hmm.
observing those around me who have actually been able to do the things that they say, because here's the thing. A lot of people say they want to do things. A lot of
Mm.
people say, I have this dream or I have this goal, but they don't really, because they don't want it bad enough, and they're not willing to do the things that are necessary to make these things happen. And it's not because they're bad people. It's just because you got to have this certain something in you, or you have to be dropped in a situation where you have no choice. The advice that I give to people all the time when they ask me about, or if it comes up in conversation, like a lot of times people don't ask me nothing, but like I'll try to, I want to help people out. So
Right, right. Drop those nuggets.
yeah, I try. Excuse me, my sinuses have been going crazy since I came back
Got
on
you.
my last trip from out of town. Um, but the thing that I always tell people when they talk about um, anything that they want to do, whether it's being a rapper, whether it's being a producer, whether it's being a filmmaker, or even being a freelance AV tech that can support themselves full time, it's like, put yourself in a position where you have no choice but to
Mm,
succeed. Because the thing is, when you have a way out, and the way out is easier than doing what it is that you say you want to do,
mm,
9 times out of 10, most people are going to take the way out. They might dip their toe in the pool. They might try it for a little bit and say, but then they're gonna be like, oh, the water's too cold. Let me go back over here in
yeah.
the sun.
Yeah.
So it's like the only people that I have seen truly succeed at the things that they want to do is when they throw plan B out the window.
Mm.
So the new thing that I had a conversation with this young dude last year, where he's trying to get a web series started. He's writing it, he's producing it. I'm hoping to work with him on it. But the thing that I told him in our conversation, because I filmed a table read for him. That's how I met him. Um, the thing that I told him, and it was, it's kind of a brilliant line, actually, I think, and that's why it stuck with me.
You go ahead and take
Rap,
that pat on the
rap,
back. Go ahead on.
rappers get one liners. So this was my great one liner. It's plan A can work.
Mm,
Because the thing is, everybody tells you have a plan B, have a plan B. Yo, you need a backup. No, if you want to succeed, plan A can work. Plan A must work. Plan A has to work. You have to give
mm,
yourself no other choice but for plan A to work. Everything that you have to do, like it, and that doesn't mean that you can't have a side hustle. That
yeah.
doesn't mean that you can't have like a part-time gig or even a full-time gig that you are working, but that full-time gig has to be in service of the larger ambition.
Mm,
um because you have to be focused on plan A the entire time. It can't be, and even if, okay, like, one of my best friends, even though I haven't talked to him in God knows how long, is a recording artist named John Connor. He's from well, that's his rap name. His He's from Michigan, from Flint. He is currently signed to Aftermath, Dr. Dre's label.
Mm.
The only reason that he was able to make that happen, because I met him on the first day of Full Sail back in 2000 and November 2003 was my first day of Full Sail. We met the first day, and from the moment I met him, I could see something different about him.
Yeah.
The reason that he ended up signed to Dr. Dre is because everything that he did was in service of the fact that he wanted to be a recording artist and producer. Like, we were going to Full Sail learning audio engineering. He figured out after a couple months, like, yo, I don't really care about having the greatest sound quality. I don't really care about being an audio engineer. This is not what's going to help fulfill my goal. So he left. He stayed in town, but he left the school and started just working on music. But it was because he was like, yo, I thought this was going to help my goal and this was going to be a good path. But now I can see, even though this is a good lane for a lot of people, for me specifically, this is not the move. The better move is to spend all my time focused on the music. And that's what he did. And from then to now, everything has been in service of the music. Like, he went back and forth between Florida and Michigan a bunch of times. He lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with 2 other dudes who he worked on music with. The one time that he told me he did go back to Flint and get a full-time job, it was because he had a goal of stacking a certain amount of money to help with his projects. And as soon as he's got that amount of money, he said, peace out, back to the music grind. And that was it. And so, like, everything was in service of that one goal. And that one goal led to him starting to get a buzz in his home state.
Yeah.
And when he moved home to take advantage of that, he ended up getting in front of a basketball player, Mateen Cleaves, who was just a fan of his music. Like, he didn't plan to be in front of Mateen Cleaves. Mateen Cleaves had heard of him and came to one of his shows or something, was like, yo, bro, you're dope. Why don't you roll with me? I know a ton of people. Like, long story shorter, they eventually end up becoming business partners. Mateen is one of his managers now, a part owner of his label that he has, and like, his meeting Mateen just through his relentless grind was kind of like the tipping point that eventually led to everything else. But it was because he just focused on the music, and he focused on the music and promoting himself and promoting his releases, and that eventually led to him meeting Mateen. Then from meeting Mateen and going to different spots with him, meeting other celebrities, which led to him meeting another manager who was more connected than Mateen was, which eventually led to him dropping a bunch of material on the blogs and getting the attention of Exhibit, who took him on tour. And then from being on tour with Exhibit knows Dr. Dre directly and was like, yo, I played your music for Dr. Dre. You need to be in California tomorrow. And he hopped on a plane.
Yeah.
And when he called me, he was like, Alex, I'm in LA. Yo, Exhibit is helping me meet Dr. Dre. And he's like, I'm not leaving here until I get signed. He's still in LA.
So plan A can work, but you got to commit to plan A.
Exactly.
Okay. So, because that's, let's just say you can put that on the album cover. That could be the one track. Okay. Plan A can work, but you got to commit to plan A. I love that so much, because it's so much power in the fact that you don't have to go the traditional route. Because again, you're talking about going to school and everybody say, hey, that's the way to go. That's the thing to do. It's just, but I think the thing is, like, being able to break from the mold, or like you see, even like I think about YouTube videos. Can't say I've, performed with Dr. Dre or been on the stage or anything like that. But, it's like, okay, so you get to the point to where you're like, okay, I want to do this thing. I got these YouTube videos, a lot of things that I saw, and even something I'm guilty of myself. It's like you copy so much because you see the thing that made somebody else successful. So you figure, let me be an emulator or a duplicator of that thing or that person or the way that they said that or the way that they did that, because if it made it successful for them, it should make it successful for me. And like, I know one of the questions I specifically wanted to ask you was, like, at what point did you come across, a situation where you may be recording something or you're setting something up to, do a project or whatever, where stuff failed? And you kind of already answered that, which is, basically, like, you have to be so dead on and just committed to that thing, to that plan A, that it has no other choice. And it kind of makes me think of the book. It's called The Obstacle is the Way.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that, because I was just listening, or no, I was just watching Cody Warner's latest video that he dropped today, and that was a book that he highlighted in his video today. And and the other thing I was gonna say is, because we're talking about plan A can work,
Yeah.
and that being like a bumper sticker for career advice.
Yeah.
But then another thing, on the way back from Miami, I was listening to the what was the name of the podcast? The indie film something. I can't remember. Gosh, I'm blanking today.
Like Indie Mogul?
No, not Indie Mogul. It's Indie Film something. Dude, Alex something hosts it. I can't remember, but I'll think of it, because D for Darius was on his latest episode.
Oh yeah. I was just looking that up before today. Looking that up today. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
And then the episode before that, Jacob Owens was on, and so like I had already heard the Jacob Owens one, but I listened to the D for Darius one, which is really dope. You gotta listen to that. It's like 2 hours of like. Actually, hold on one second. I gotta find the name of this just so that everybody can know what it is.
Indie Film Hustle.
Yes. Indie Film Hustle. That's it. Indie Film Hustle. Like, everybody, after this is done, well, maybe not, because it's 2 hours.
I'll drop the link down.
Yeah,
I'll drop the link
down.
Indie
Film Hustle podcast with D for Darius. They talk for 2 hours, and it's so many jewels in that. But one of the things that the host always does, he has a specific set of questions that he asks his guests at the end, and one of those questions was like, what's the one lesson that you've learned, like, for film or for life, that you would want to communicate to the viewers or to the listeners, if you were listening to the podcast and not watching the video version? And as soon as he asked that question, the thing that popped in my head was, you don't have to follow the rules. Which kind of goes along with what you were just saying a minute ago. It's like, you don't have to follow the rules to be successful. You don't have to do what everybody tells you to do. Because like, just and like, that's something took me a really, and just to highlight that point, I would say I'm a failure. I am a failed rapper and producer, because if I had committed like my friends committed, I would have done a lot more. Like, if I committed like my friends committed, I might be out in LA with John Connor. If I committed like my friends committed, I would have done more than one rap tour in my lifetime. I've only been on tour once, maybe technically twice, like, but like, I've only been on one legit tour, which is a shame, because like, I'm insanely talented as a rapper and producer, but I've let I let my family's expectations of what a life should be, I guess, shape how I made a lot of decisions in my life. And it wasn't until I finally left having a job, and I'm 36, by the way, in case anybody didn't know. So it wasn't until I left my job in 2008, April 2008, that I really started breaking with tradition. And even then, there's still, I still kind of let myself get trapped by a lot of things. There's some things where I just threw the finger up and said, take that. But but I still sometimes let myself get trapped by convention a little bit, and part of that's because I have a family now,
Mm-hmm.
so I make a lot of decisions based upon the fact that I have a wife and 2 kids, um, but still, like, cause and the biggest thing would have been being a slave to paying bills. That's the
Mm,
biggest mistake that I made, was being a slave to paying bills, responsibilities when I ain't really had none. Because I had friends who were indie rappers who were on the road all the time. I could have done that, but I was like, yo, I gotta pay this rent, so I need to have this job. Yo, I because I didn't, and they were like, they were doing paid stuff, like
yeah.
it was low level, maybe door splits for shows, or maybe a $200 guarantee, a $300 guarantee. But the time when they were doing that, my rent wasn't that big. Like, my rent's ridiculous now, but so I gotta work. But like back then, especially like when I had roommates or something, and I was paying like $400 a month, like, I could have been on the road, like doing shows and helping to make my name get bigger, but I was stuck in this mindset, in this box of, yo, I gotta pay these bills, and I gotta pay these school loans, and man,
Yeah.
bump that. Like, it eventually got to a point where life situations and everything, I was too broke to pay every bill every month, and I had to be like, F it.
Wow.
I'll pay what I can pay. The rest I'm gonna have to let burn.
Wow.
And like, my credit took a dive, and everything like that. Like, it's recovered now. That took years.
Yeah.
But if I had been in that mindset earlier, I could have been on the road. I could have been doing shows. I could have been doing exactly what I said I wanted to do. And because I stayed in that little box mentally, I didn't. I missed out. So I'm a failed rapper and producer. I'm still dope, but like, and I'm not entirely failed, because I have been paid for rapping. Some friends of mine had a freestyle rap show at Universal that I helped out with.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually have been a paid rapping professional. Not a lot of people can say that. Um,
Right. Everybody else just failed, and it's just like, yeah, I ain't get no hits, man. I ain't get put on the marquee. I ain't get put on the program. I ain't even get put on the napkin. So,
yeah, so I have been paid to rap. Um, but yeah, so for the most part, I'm a failed rapper and producer, and like, I that is a regret, but it taught me, like, looking back at that and seeing where I made mistakes has taught me a lot.
got you. So when you told your wife, you said, or got to the point, so okay, you failed at what you feel like you failed, or I would say, like, say, failed forward, especially still in pursuit, just maybe taking an alternate route. So you get to the point, you have this mentality where I'm going to make this next thing that I'm doing work in pursuit of the thing that I want. And following your own advice, plan A's got to work. There is no other way for me to take. Like, I have no other road. So you married now, you have children now, and you have even more expenses, and higher
Hella
food bills, and
expensive.
yeah,
Oh my
right.
god.
So it's
And
not
I'm a
just
foodie,
McDonald's.
so my food bill is out of control. Like, I really need to get on a
Okay.
food budget, because I buy entirely too much food. Like,
It's,
because I get these fancy ideas, and
okay. so so you got all of that, was it Michael Blueback, or is he a singer or a chef? I don't know. Someone name a chef. Okay, Gordon Ramsay. You're doing your thing in the kitchen. So now you get this idea where I'm going to become a filmmaker now. So you have this track record at the time, where essentially you feel like you failed, and maybe you've even communicated that to her. How do you transition that into, like, okay, I'm going to buy now, you know, Panasonic G85. I'm going to get this equipment, audio equipment. I'm going to get these
well,
microphones.
that's a
And
little
now
interesting.
how you sell that one?
I don't.
You do.
Um, all right, so I kind of have a little bit of an addictive personality.
Right.
I go through these phases of being infatuated with something and it consuming the majority of my attention and money. Um, So like if you see on the shelf behind me, that is my watch collection.
Mm-hmm.
So during some of the years before I got into filmmaking, I became infatuated with Invicta watches. Like I started collecting one. Like it's my friend Matt Ill's fault. He's another rapper. Um, because he got an Invicta watch and I saw it the first time. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And so I saved up for like months to buy my first Invicta, which was only like, it was less than $200, but it was dope. And, and so I bought that first one and like, I don't know, obsession was kindled. I have 100 watches sitting back there.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't even want to think about the amount of money that I spent on them. Because if I had all the money that I spent on them had been spent on camera gear, like I would have a full blown production facility probably.
Wow.
But so, and like most things in my life, I fall into them by accident. Like I never started out with the intention to start rapping. It like I one of my poems one day kind of sounded like a rap, and I
You
tried
just went for
rapping
it.
and yeah, and I became enamored when I started making beats. Like it was because didn't have nobody to make beats for me. Started doing them. Like yeah,
So
this
if
could be
you
a thing.
So if
Like
that's been the progression and you're like, okay, I don't want to be even a filmmaker essentially at the time that you started, because I can definitely say I didn't want to do video when I got started doing video. I was doing it as a byproduct of my coach saying, get started in video because you need to do it. And I'm like, okay.
yeah.
And then it just kind of took its own thing. So how did you get to the point to where you like, I'm going to do videos, and then that gets to the point to where I want to share some of this at least on YouTube somewhere in, like, how did you make that transition?
In staggering steps. Cause all right, so failed rapper, but not realizing that I'm a failed rapper at the time because I'm still
Mm-hmm.
making music. Um, and so my wife has had a couple of decent cameras over the years. I have never owned a camera before, but I would use hers for a while. I got into photography really heavy. I thought I was going to try to take a stab at um making photography a source of income, but that was when I still had the full-time job.
Yeah.
So like life got hectic, especially once I left the full-time job and started hustling AV, fell out of that. But it got to the point where I was working on music and I'm like, man, I hate having to borrow this lady's camera because she thinks I'm gonna break it every time I touch it. So maybe I just need to get my own. So I started digging into YouTube, doing exhaustive searches, watching all sorts of test footage because I'm like, if I'm gonna spend some serious bread on a camera, I don't want to waste my
Mm-hmm.
money.
Right.
I finally settled on the Panasonic G7. I order it. I paid too much for it because I didn't buy it on sale. Like, because like when I was gonna order it, it was like July 4th when they have the good sales,
Mm-hmm.
and like I hesitated and I hesitated, like, man, it's so much money, and it was $500. And then like a couple days after July 4th, it's like, wait, it's 600 now. And then a few days later, it's like, wait, it's 650 now. What's going on? And because I don't know about the camera sales cycles yet.
Yeah.
And so like I went
They
and
got you. They got
yeah,
you.
I ordered one like before. I'm like, man, I gotta order this thing before the price goes any higher, man. But I get it, and as soon as I start messing with it, like I just become once again I become kind of like obsessed, and I'm on YouTube every day looking at tutorials, trying to figure out how
Mm,
to get the most out of this thing. And then and at this point I wasn't like dreaming of being a filmmaker or anything. I just want good quality.
okay.
Like I bought this thing, I want to get the best quality out of it that I can. So I'm looking at tutorials and stuff. And the first videos that I shot with that thing look terrible, like absolutely terrible. Um, but but like I was having fun, and my whole goal in getting the camera was I was just thinking, oh well, maybe I want to do like some YouTube artist updates, because it wasn't like I had a fan base or anything. But I'm thinking, like, yeah, maybe I record a video to like for my fans, and maybe I get somebody to help me shoot a little low budget music video or something. Blah blah blah. Like I really had no solid idea of what I was gonna do with the camera, but I
Okay.
just knew. But I was also thinking, like, maybe I'll get back into photography again, and if that becomes a thing, and if I get, because I was pretty good at photography. Like, I wasn't like, I mean, me evaluating me, but usually, but I'm usually pretty hard on myself. But I think I took some dope images.
So you're starting with a little bit of a skill level. You get kind of got some kind of starting point.
Yeah, but video is a whole different animal for photography. So, and I was doing like concert photography.
Okay,
So,
got you. Yeah.
like I was going to a lot of local shows and shooting stuff like that. So that's a whole different beast from like trying to set up a camera for video and get an image that looks, maybe even something like this right now.
Yeah.
So I had a whole lot to learn, but when the bug really started hitting me um was a friend of mine named Skip. You might have seen, if anybody who's watching now has ever followed me at all, you might have seen in some of my rare vlogs this white dude with like this crazy haircut named Skip. Well, he's another local rapper, and he's a visual artist, and he was trying to do a web series called Skip's Big Ideas, because he does these gigantic art installations, and he figured a good way to promote himself would be to like document the creation of some of his art installations, because because some of his ideas are so big he can't complete them himself, so he has to work with other local artisans, craftsmen, yada yada yada, to get to a finished product. And he thought it would be dope to highlight himself, but also highlight other creatives and craftsmen in the Orlando area through his series. And so he had gotten some production company interested, and they were like halfway through his pilot episode, and all of a sudden they quit the project. I don't know why. He doesn't really know why, but they just quit the project. And so he had to finish the thing with his iPhone, which
Wow.
and like edit it himself, and put like, he had to learn how to make a TV show, because
Wow.
he had been left with the footage for like half a TV show. And he's like, I got to finish this thing. And so he did it. He edited it up, did it together, arranged a whole premiere at a local art gallery where he was able to set up some of his art, and he made it a big thing. And I'm supporting the homie, so I went.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, this is a cool idea. Like, let me go see. He's having an event. It's free. It's not gonna hurt me. It's like
Right.
10 minutes down the road. Like, I'm gonna go. And yo, he played his pilot episode, and I was like, I want to do that. And so I went up to him like, yo, man, that was so dope. Like, look, I got a camera. Can I help you out? And he was like, hell yeah, you can help me out. and I ended up becoming his go-to camera guy, and just through working with him on episodes where the rest of the series hasn't come out yet. We got a bunch of episodes like part of the, we really need like a production staff, because we probably could have released at least part of the season by now if we had a production staff. But like, I shoot everything, he edits everything, but then we both are busy with other things. And even though he hasn't released any more episodes, just in the process of filming that and arranging projects and other things, like, he's come to the attention of other local organizations who will be like, oh, yo, we saw your pilot and we see you out here in the community. Yo, can you do this for us? And so other projects have come up where we do a weekly web series now for Downtown Arts District, which is a nonprofit like that helps promote the arts in Orlando, and Sam Flax Orlando, which is a paint and craft store called On the Spot, where each month they pick a different artist in the local community, and we go film an episode. We go film 4 like 1-minute episodes where they pick out some of their favorite products they like to use from Sandflax, and then use them in the creation of a piece. And they in the we interview them about certain techniques that they use, and it's like kind of like a tutorial-ish thing.
Okay.
And that's been, we're on our 4th month, maybe 5th month. Well, we did it. They initially gave us a 3-month contract, and when we did the 3
Wow.
months and smashed it, they were like, "Yo, we want another 9 months," or was it another 6 months? I can't remember.
Okay. Hold up. I gotta stop. I gotta pump the brakes. So, okay. So allow me to interject for a moment. So you go from like he goes from having no, like he has help essentially. They dip off, they're gone. He takes his iPhone, creates his first pilot of what he wants. You go, you like, I want to be a part of this. I want to do this. I got a camera. I don't know nothing about nothing. So like what was it either about his story that was so grappling, like who's teaching who about how to tell the story? Because obviously something about what he did or what you saw was compelling enough, obviously beyond quality, because
His
on a phone video.
storytelling abilities are really good. Like for somebody, I mean, like a lot of filmmakers these days are entirely self-taught. But
Mm,
I mean, we both. I think a lot of it stems from our musical background. Like we're both just no strangers to storytelling. Like his last album that he put out was a concept album, which was very detailed and like came with a comic book and all this stuff. And
wow.
so like he's no stranger to telling a story, and neither am I. So a lot of my
Okay.
best songs that I ever wrote were story songs. Um, and, and and I mean, just people respond to storytelling in hip hop. Maybe not so much today, but like even but even still today, some of the biggest songs that you'll hear, or the ones that will really stick with people, are the ones that
Hmm.
are good stories. You know what I'm saying? Because those are more memorable. Uh, and So I think a lot of our storytelling ability comes from our hip hop backgrounds. And for me personally, even though I've worked on music most of my life, which is
Hmm.
a uh, audio experience, I've
Right.
always been a very visual person. Like it, until like I got in front of a computer to assemble music, like
Hmm.
it was music was very hard for me to like comprehend and come up with. But once it was on a screen, like I was in there. I'm like a audio wizard with like chopping samples and manipulating sounds. Like I can make Adobe Audition sit up and beg for more. Like like
Heard that.
like I've been messing with Adobe Audition since it was owned by another company, Centrillium, and was called Cool Edit 96.
Wow.
So yeah, that's how long I've been doing audio editing. And so
So
audio engineering.
So what's like one technique or one something that you do that makes sure, because like you can have audio, but you can't have a video without the audio. Like if our audio right now was terrible, everybody would be gone. You know,
Well,
so
okay, if the audio was terrible, everybody would be gone. But if there was no audio,
then
but you
everybody
could
can still stay.
but
Yeah.
you could still convey a story,
Okay.
people will watch.
So is that the one, like obviously our audio takes precedence over the video, but like what's one technique or one something that you do to make sure that you hold your audience's attention? Because sometimes it's easy to start it off or kick something off, which like most movies start off with action or some person that winds up being important. Later on they get hit with the bullet or whatever the case is. But like what's something that one technique, one something that you use to hold their attention?
For me, and like I've had a lot of growing pains on YouTube. Like it really took a lot of studying of my analytics and my favorite YouTubers for me to really figure out quote unquote formula
Right.
for my stuff. And I'm still developing it. Like I don't have like I don't like every time I sit down, it's not like I have a 1, 2, 3 thing. But for me, I find that I find that the videos that I'd make that have the most impact are ones where I make sure that my delivery is energetic
Mm-hmm.
and probably twice the speed that I normally talk at.
Okay.
Like my wife complains that I'm a slow talker because like I like to think about what I'm saying before I
Okay.
say it. So a big thing that's helped me is actually scripting out my videos. Like I don't always stick to the script, but I write a script beforehand, like a full script word for word, like I write it out. That can change in the recording process, but like thoroughly planning out what I intend and making sure that I hit it with an upbeat delivery, and I pack a lot of information into my videos that really do well. The videos that don't do well
Mm-hmm.
are the ones where I'm not really conveying a ton of information or a ton of value. Like, because the thing is, people have short attention spans. People are very driven by what's good for them.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I found that with the way that I put my YouTube videos together, the one thing that I can offer people that I don't see a lot of other people offering is background information.
Okay.
Um, so like if I'm doing so like a big part of my channel, and give me just 1 second here. I'm just stop it. Restore the chat. I like to see the chat. Uh, um, yeah. So like I was saying, one thing that I do that I don't see a lot of other YouTubers doing is is giving background information. So I or giving context and going back into storytelling. That is one of the things that I think helps grab people when it comes to story. When it comes to story, is
Okay.
context. You like when you give people the proper frame of reference so that they truly understand what's going on. It's much easier for them to sink their teeth into the story. And I also do my best to make um my videos a little bit story like.
Right.
So like my biggest video, most successful video is my my review of 4 pocket-sized LED lights. And it's a story. Like it's a product review, but it's also a story. Like in the product review, I tell the story of how I discovered these lights and why I decided to review them, and like it was involved. Like it took me weeks to do that video,
Wow.
and I wish every video, and it's not weeks because like the actual production time was weeks of work. It was just
Yeah.
because I was doing it around my work schedule, and I don't have a lot of free time,
Mm-hmm.
especially during my busy season. So like I'm doing it around my work schedule. So I had to schedule like, or I had to set aside one day where I was off just to shoot B-roll, and then I had to have another day where I was off, like a separate day, just to shoot the part with me on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had another day where it was just me editing the video. Um, and then the part that sucked about that was like, as I'm putting the story together and editing it, I think, oh, well, it would be great if I had this one shot to put here. So I've run out the room and go set up the camera because like I think this one shot's gonna make the story, and that happened several times throughout the edit, so that made it take longer. Um, and this was before I was fully scripting things out. Like I had most of the script, but like not everything. But now it's like when I script it out, like I'm planning, okay, what B-roll is going to go over this section,
Mm-hmm.
and okay, so this paragraph I'm actually going to be on camera. These next 3 paragraphs I'm going to be off camera, so I can read that directly from the paper, and only have to do that
Yeah.
once or twice,
Yeah.
and things like that. So it makes my process go a lot faster now. Like my newest video that just debuted on the channel today, I actually recorded the day before yesterday, and it's a video I've been planning to do for months. It's called get it get an aperture 120D and light dome for $200. You
Mm-hmm.
can't can't really get an Aperture 120D and Light Dome for $200, but I get you the next best thing, and like I kind of make it a story. It's story-ish. It's not super story driven, but like I managed to I recorded and edited that video in half a day, which would have been impossible months ago.
Just simply by having a script.
Not just by having a script. It's also because, one, I'm more comfortable with my scripting process now. I'm more comfortable with it, and I actually wrote the script a couple months ago, because like this, I've been planning to make this video for months. So I wrote the script, well, a few weeks ago. I wrote the script a few weeks ago, and I hadn't had the time to record it. But like I was doing other work. I was editing a music video that I shot this past weekend for a local artist, and I got to a good stopping point, and because I'm like, I need a break from this. And then I was like, oh, I finally have time to try to shoot this video. Looked at the script real quick. I'm like, okay, I think this might actually be manageable, and set up the camera and went for it. And it's probably the fastest I've recorded a video, a scripted video ever. Like I didn't even break out the teleprompter or anything. I just looked at the script, saw the parts where I actually had to be on camera. I was like, all right, I gotta kind of say this. All right, let me record the on-camera part. Took me a few takes. Then the parts where I knew I wasn't going to be on camera, I just turned the camera on and just read. And you know, but it made the process really quick. But like 3-4 months ago, I couldn't have done it that fast. Like it took me less than an hour, I think.
Wow.
And to record it. The editing took most, you know, around family time, took most of the rest of the night. But I wanted to get it done because I had to drive to Miami the next morning, and like I just drove back from Miami, and so like I hit upload right before I walked out the door to go to Miami.
Man,
so yeah, like pressed for time.
Man, that's crazy, because it's like so I had just did like a quick video clip on I had uploaded like to Facebook, Instagram. It was just a real quick clip. And it's basically, it was from, I think it was like last week's live stream, where a lot of people think about YouTubers from the perspective that, you know, we're just out here trying to be like we're 14-year-old kids. Like everybody on the platform is a 14-year-old kid. And you're just trying to be the next Casey Neistat, you know, crouching down in front of the camera, running in the middle of the street, doing crazy stuff, when essentially a lot of us are entrepreneurs. A lot of us are doing something, like we have other stuff that we're doing on the platform. We didn't come here necessarily to be a quote unquote YouTuber. We came here to share a message or provide some kind of value in some kind of way. So simply just to hear like the whole rundown of how you're actually putting the work in, because I know you just crossed over 1,000 subscribers. So congratulations. Make sure you go ahead and click up above, subscribe to the channel. Congratulations on that, because it is a lot of work. Thanks. Thanks. I appreciate it. But you know, it's a lot of work that goes into doing that. And you talk about creating a script. I just figure like I'm doing an outline. I don't really think about it as a script. And like I was sharing earlier with some of the people that were on earlier. So if you just now joining in, you can watch the replay in the beginning. And I was just talking about like what I call the RTE process. I'm doing like a record to edit. So for example, like I got my phone and I could just know that I know the part that I know I want to talk about. Maybe I'm sharing like say, the backstory or whatever. And I do like this because I know this part, I don't have to, you know, I'm gonna put some cover up my face. You won't be able to tell, and it's just going to be,
just like
you know, over. Yeah, so it's like, okay, I know I can cheat a little bit because I'm just going to be.
You got to because if you're trying to do the whole thing from memory, or even if you got like I have a teleprompter and like I'm trying to get more comfortable using the teleprompter because I do like scripting everything out and having it word for word, but one of the reasons why I didn't do that in this last video, it was a little bit of an experiment because I had the script where I could have like set up the teleprompter and gone word for word. One that would have taken a little more time to set up because I would have had to take my GH5 out the cage and put it on the teleprompter and get my
you gotta be a little bougie, you know.
But it was an experiment because the one thing that I noticed about me personally in the videos where I was using the teleprompter. One, I'm not great at the teleprompt at doing the, read the teleprompter without
Mm-hmm.
obviously moving your eyes thing
Yeah.
yet. And somebody actually called me out for it in the comments on one of my
Uh.
videos, and I was mad. So shout out to you, person who called me out in the comments. Um, but a lot of my favorite YouTubers that do say that they plan out their videos, like they're just doing, like you said, you're doing outlines, and just kind of like they got the bullet points, and then
Mm-hmm.
they,
Go
the
for it.
actual
Yeah.
wording they make up off the cuff, but
Yeah.
it's a lot more natural. And I've got some videos that are, for me at least, are successful videos, but even though I'm very good at using my voice well, once again, that's my rapper background,
Right.
facial expressions and everything is kind of stiff, and like I want to inject more of my personality, more of me, because even though like those videos that I'm talking about have been doing well for me in terms of numbers and the commentary and the information that people have been able to get from them, I want more me,
Mm.
to be in it. And when I'm reading from the script word for word, it's super hard for me to inject as much of me as I want. Even though all the words are me, even though all the thoughts are me, it's like I'm a I'm look, all rappers are silly dudes. Almost
Okay.
every single rapper that you meet is a fool. Like, we joke, we play, we're big kids. Like, the hardest rapper you've ever known or ever seen on the screen is
Mm-hmm.
probably a big joker. All of us, man. Like I mean, you seen Tekashi 6ix9ine is snitching on everybody.
Man,
Like,
look.
although that's totally different. Like,
It's a whole
his
nother,
own, yeah, his whole crew was plotting to kill him, and it's crazy.
whole nother different
Yeah,
genre going on right
but
there.
yeah, but I mean, like a Method Man, Red Man,
Yeah.
like everybody, like Ice Cube, like you've seen the movies he's made. He's got all them
Right.
comedies. Like, we're
Right.
all like freaking clowns. You know what I'm saying? So like and I mean, I'm not saying I got the best sense of humor ever, but I get a chuckle every now and then, and like I want to put that in the videos, because like I feel like when people can really start to get to know you, um that's when they come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, all my favorite YouTubers, I keep going back to their channels because like I see their personality. You start to get to see who they are.
Yeah.
And like you can tell when people are like, and some YouTubers, when they're kind of like, if they have like this personality that they put on for YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that's fine, because it's a performance, it's what you come back for, it's what you expect. That can be all good if that's what their channel is about. Like, for me, I am a low budget filmmaker who fell into filmmaking by accident. And even though I make decent money doing what I do to pay the bills, like, I am paying a lot of bills. And like, I have scraped and scrounged and, had to do things I probably shouldn't have done to make these things happen. And so I'm always looking for a deal. So when I'm looking at product, and pretty much uh, the majority of everything that I've gear wise that I've talked about on my channel is stuff
Yeah.
that I've used.
Yeah.
Is stuff that I've used or stuff that I've incorporated into my process. And so like there's very few things that are something that I haven't legit used, and that I only took out the box and played with for a little bit, and then got on camera and talked about it.
Mm.
Or and if I did, it was with the caveat like, hey, this is just like a first impressions.
Right. Right.
Like this ain't like an in-depth review. Um because I want people to be able, I want people, if I talk about a product, I want it to be because I actually believe in the product, or I think the product's cool.
Yeah.
And even with product reviews in the first place, I didn't get on YouTube planning to do product reviews. And product reviews aren't all that I do, but product reviews it's probably most of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that's because I'm a gear slut. And and two, it's because when I started doing my YouTube research and looking at my analytics and things like that, I saw that what people responded to that I was doing was the gear reviews.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, I like buying gear and I like talking about gear, so why
Go with
not?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and when I did that, and like I said, when I did that for pocket size LED light comparison, that was kind of like when I really started to find my lane, because all my reviews before then were kind of like not very well organized, or not really that thought out, like not high production value. That video, well, no, it started a couple videos before that. A couple of like 2 or 3 videos or 2 or 3 reviews before that, let me say, is kind of when I started developing my informational rapid fire formula. And all those videos that I've done with kind of that formula, if I hate the word formula, but I mean, I guess it is. Everything that I've done in that lane has worked well for me. Like that 4 light review video, that's my first video with 10,000 views.
Yeah, because I know you
I
got
did.
the DSLR video shooter. He immediately like hopped on that. I was like, okay, brother man's
Yeah,
getting
and
some
that
traction.
was a surprise. Like Caleb is
Yeah.
super cool. I'm actually a subscriber to Caleb's channel,
Yeah.
or a member on this, because you know you can do those when you get to a certain level. You can do those
The
memberships
memberships. Yep.
on the channel. Well, I was one of the first members of his channel once he got that feature, because he's my favorite YouTuber. I'm not afraid to say that. Like,
Okay.
DSLR video shooter is my favorite YouTuber. The majority of what I know about like setting up a camera to shoot, I learned from his channel. I got obsessed with LED lighting because of his channel. So he has taught me a lot, but he's also like, being a member of his channel and getting like some extra access to him, like he's a really cool dude. Like he does members only live streams sometimes, and like we get on Google Hangout like we're doing now, and we just chop it up about what's going on. Like, so it's like we've got like this little inner circle of people that like we get to talk to him, and he's mad cool, and it's dope.
I know exactly. Like that's how, like when like I said, my mentor, he was coaching me. He's like, okay, this is what you want to do. Cause essentially like tech stuff, like I was good with tech, but that was not what I was interested in doing. I wanted to do like I really wanted to dig deep into personal development and small home-based business entrepreneurship. But I wanted to lead with personal development. It started attracting totally wrong audience. And it was, especially being a coach, get clients, and those clients really need counseling. And it's like, I'm not being fulfilled in doing that. And it's just like, I really want to get you real help. Like if that's what you need, I want to help you start your business to do the thing that you want. So it's like, okay, let me switch gears. And then just kind of, as I kept running into challenges with different stuff that I bought, start going to that YouTube search bar. How do I best camera for, best light for, this, now, or whatever, and then price range and all of that. Up comes Sean Cannell of all people. And he just had like a playlist of videos, start, buying his courses and stuff like that. And he actually has a program called Inner Circle. And it's just like, now I'm in that program, just like bought all kinds of stuff. And so like when I saw him in September, it's somebody I've been connecting with and rocking with since 2016, content wise. So met him in person. It was just like been seeing each other for a while, been talking to each other for a while. As I always say, that like that's my brother from another mother, but in essence, essentially it's another mentor for me. And it's like it was his content, and even like his style. You look at some of my earlier videos, I started like researching and probing and digging. Like, okay, I like for real would just sit and dissect a video. Why do I love watching this video more than other ones? And I would take and just go through the video with nothing but audio. So I, turn the screen around and I'm paying attention. Like when he says this new topic started, this title came in, if I'm watching it the second time with no audio. And so it's just like paying every little thing and start incorporating it, start learning and trying different stuff. And it's just like start taking stuff to a whole new level. And it's not, I don't consider myself like a filmmaker or whatever, or even like the best storyteller per se. But, you know, it's just like that mentorship and that person that was out there doing their thing, you know, really helped propel me forward. So it's cool to hear like, you know, Caleb was the one that kind of helped kind of in essence kind of do that for you too.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, I mean, I still watch all his videos as soon as they come out. Um, like even if the video has nothing to do with anything that I'm doing, like if
Right.
it's on a piece of gear that I know I'm never gonna buy, like say for instance, it's on an aspect about a Sony camera, which I don't buy
Mm.
Sony cameras. I have no plans to buy a Sony camera, at least not any of the mirrorless cameras or anything like that. Although I might, when I'm ready to move up
A6400.
to a nah, the A6400 is not it to me. But I've been considering like if in the future, you know, maybe in the next year or two, I need to move up to a cinema camera
Mm.
to get more work. Just because like I'm out here trying to get work, and you can get work with what I've got now, which is the GH5. Like I've gotten paying gigs, like I've done a lot of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but but for some of the work that I'd like to be doing, one of the roadblocks that I keep running into is that people want you to have like an FS5 or
Yeah.
FS7 or a
Something like
Canon
that. Yeah.
C200 or C300, and I'm like, man, I don't want a freaking cinema camera. Like I like having small, compact, like throw it in a backpack. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
want a big rig. Like I don't. And and there are plenty of people out there who are building companies without them.
Right.
But because like as a filmmaker, what I want to do is DP, which is be a director of, and what I am doing is being a director of photography. Um so like in the last couple months I worked on 3 short films. um two two or one is all the way done, unless the director decides after this premiere tomorrow he wants to do some tweaking, which I
Mm-hmm.
hope he doesn't, because I'm kind of
Kind of
done. Like
over. You okay?
like no, I love the film, I love what we did, but it's like I kind of don't want to do any more work on it. Like
Got you.
I want new projects. This that one's called Digits. It's actually premiering in a local film competition tomorrow night, and
Wow.
which is dope.
Yeah.
And that's my
Congratulations.
first, yeah, that's my first narrative short film that I've done. Like I've done many documentaries, that's in a ton of interviews, that sort of thing, but this is my first narrative short film that I shot. So it was a big learning experience, and I've helped out on other narrative short films, but this was the first one with me behind the camera.
Mm.
um, so it was a great learning experience. I learned a whole bunch. Then I did another one called Night Mist, which is going to be premiering in March in Pennsylvania. Yeah, Pennsylvania, because the person who the movie is based on lives out there, and I guess he's like old and ill,
Yeah.
and so they're going out there to do the premiere there, and he's like helped organize a bunch of stuff. It's gonna be an event. I won't be able to go because I'm gonna be working in Texas when the premiere goes on, but whatever. My name's on the credits. It's on the poster. Um, so there, and then there's some Full Sail students who I'm helping shoot a short film for right now,
Mm-hmm.
and then I think there's somebody who's trying to get me to help him with a web series, but we haven't gotten to talk about it yet. So that's coming
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Uh, so I'm trying to keep busy. Like I honestly I'm stretching myself too thin, but I feel like, and my wife is always on me like you shouldn't be doing all this stuff. Like how you like you're like I mean, and she's right, like to a point, but I also feel like if but it's also it's like I said, I've learned some lessons through life and from watching people who are successful. And one of those things is you have to be willing to do things that other people won't do.
Wow.
You have to be willing to put in work that other people won't put in. So it's like, yeah, I am honestly overdoing it. I do tend to pack my schedule a little too tight. Because if I'm not working, getting paid from one of these AV companies, like doing a gig, like I'm trying to find a film project to do, or I need to be or I need to be doing another YouTube video. Like I need to be doing something because
Got you.
because and I mean, don't get me wrong, I take time to relax. Like I watch YouTube every day, mostly because I can do that while I do other things. Uh, and like I have several TV series that I watch on demand. Um, because like I've got this need to consume content. Like I
But
just
you
have
but you stay in the grind though the whole time, you know.
yeah. So like, but I do, and like there are times where I just need to sit down and have a beer and just not do anything.
Yeah.
And I'm also learning some important lessons about myself. Which one is like I don't work well at night.
Mm.
Um, like some dudes are super late night owls and will
Mm-hmm.
stay up all night editing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can, but it is super hard for me to be at all productive trying to stay up late and get work done. I'm much better if I wake up mega early and everybody's asleep and I can just come into the studio and edit or do something like that, or like script out something. Or and also I for me to get anything, or to me be any type of efficient, I have to
Mm-hmm.
have a list. I have to plan out my day in blocks and like just go down the list and be like bang 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 bang. And the
Yeah.
list can change, but I have to have a list. Like if I try to do like a written out list, if I try to do like a mental list, I lose track of time. But if I write it down and I'll put timestamps on it, like from
Mm-hmm.
4:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. I'm in the studio editing. From 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. I'm prepping breakfast for the kids and lunch. 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. is family time, like getting them ready, getting them to school, and then
Wow.
coming back and maybe having breakfast. And
Yeah.
9 to 10, I'm back in the studio editing. 10 to 11, like I have to have it like that detailed, or else I
Wow.
don't get anything done.
But it kind of goes like with knowing how you work best and what kind of throws you off. Like for me, like I can do off the cuff, but I don't like it. I very much so like to be visual and think through things long before I, ever actually pick up my camera, or long before I actually physically do that thing. I really, really want to be very methodical in my thought and in the writing process. So just knowing how you work best, it impacts what you're able to do. So I completely get that. So would you say that when it comes to like, because I know we talked on gear, and I know I've covered a lot of stuff. I know you kind of hated on me for switching from Panasonic, but that's all right. We're gonna love you anyway. But but it's like, so
I'm a Panasonic fanboy. I can't help it.
but it's good quality gear though. They have good
Yeah, I
quality
mean they
gear, so I
say they
can't
say
hate.
you can't they say you can't get Bokeh on Micro Four Thirds. Look at that background. I
I'm
got
telling
Bokeh.
you, did tell them.
I got Bokeh. I got Bokeh, and I'm shooting at 12 millimeters. What?
Okay. All right. Okay. So we've dispelled that whole proof, because I'm on APS-C, and you could very much say background blur is pretty much the same. It ain't too different. So, but like,
Dude.
so, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like you're right. Like people over exaggerate that shit. Like Tony and Chelsea
Oh
and
my
like
gosh. He
like
killed me
that
with the
dude.
ISO video recently. I'm
I
like,
haven't
okay.
watched it. I haven't watched it yet. Like
Man.
I've heard about it. Like I kind of want to watch the F Stoppers video first,
Yeah.
their Mythbusters video. I
Yeah.
like the F Stoppers dudes.
Yeah.
See, I'm all over YouTube, man. I'm always looking for new channels to follow and watch, because like I gotta have new content. Like
Yeah.
I gotta be able to see something that teaches me something.
So
Um,
so when it comes to like the gear though, because I know like specifically all of these channels are very much so like they get shipped out to, these press events for cameras and all this stuff. So a lot of people like say,
not
so we
me
already
yet.
not yet is the key word, yet. But it's
I'm
like,
working on it. I'm working on it.
hey,
I have started getting a few offers for reviews and stuff. So like I did a review a couple months back on a little on-camera mixer
Mm-hmm.
that got sent to me. I need to do a review on this ring light. Like I don't know if you follow this other YouTuber, what's his name? Starts with the Nigel Bajos. If you don't, if it's his last name is spelled Barros.
Yeah, I've seen
Not
them. Yeah.
Yeah, Nigel Bajos. He got sent the same ring light, but I guess he did his review faster than I did because I got sent mine several months ago. But
Wow.
but I wanted to use. But like I said, I'm trying to make more of an effort not to make videos without actually having used the product
Mm-hmm.
thoroughly. So like I didn't want to just get like I got the light, I set it up, I looked at it. It's like, all right, it's a ring light.
Right.
It works.
Got you.
It's a ring light.
Right.
But I'm
So,
like, I don't want to make a video just saying that. So like I waited until I actually took it out and used it on shoots. And
mm,
so now I've actually I've used it on one video of mine for my YouTube channel. I've used it on 2 paid shoots,
mm-hmm.
and it actually worked out really, really well. So like now I feel like I'm prepared to do a real video on it.
Got you. So how do you get past the whole, essentially, like I know Michael said in the chat, the gear porn, but it's like how you get past all these cameras that come out, all of these things. Because obviously, if I wasn't looking, I would have never paid attention to the M50 because I dogged the camera out.
Well, I
Out.
look at all the camera reviews that come out, or I look at all the cameras. Maybe not all the camera reviews because there's a ton of those.
Yeah.
But at least from my favorite YouTubers, I look at all the camera reviews. Like I've I don't know how many A6400 camera review videos I've watched. I have no plans to buy the camera, but I keep watching the videos. I don't know
Mm,
why, but I mean, well, because some of them are entertaining. But like, and I just like seeing. I also like seeing a bunch of different opinions on the same product before I make a decision.
mm-hmm.
So like I've seen people who have torn it apart. I've seen people who have said, "Oh, it's pretty good,"
Yeah.
and I've seen people who are just like,
It's
what
all
is
right.
this
Yeah.
for?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, you know,
So
but so I have no plans to buy the camera, but I've watched the reviews. I've looked at the specs. Same with the A7 III. I don't have any plans to go and I don't have any plans to go Sony, but I've watched the videos. Like,
So somebody asked in the chat, Ernesto asked, can you do client videos or pro video with something like a SL2 or M50? And he says
oh
everyone
yeah,
talks about doing like 4K video versus not doing 4K. So you talked a little bit about, maybe somebody specifically. It's a difference if they come asking you for a cinema line camera versus like, can you just essentially though get client work from a
oh
budget
yeah.
friendly camera?
There's another YouTuber, this Canadian dude. I don't watch his channel much, so I don't remember what his name is.
Mm-hmm.
But he did extensive. He did a number of videos on the M50 specifically, and then on one of them he showed a video that he did paid client work with the M50, and it looked dope.
Mm,
I mean, maybe it wasn't as sharp as a 4K camera, but he said the client loved it, and it even got shown on like a jumbotron at a hockey game or something,
oh, you
and
talking about
it
Justin
looked good.
Rivas? Justin
Yeah,
Rivas. Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, it looked dope. I mean, and you got to remember when you're looking at YouTube videos, the YouTube compression kills everything. Like
Yeah.
every time I hit upload and look at something, like I can't watch any of my videos on YouTube unless I'm streaming them in 1080p because the compression just wrecks the quality so much. I mean, the GH5, look, all the Panasonic cameras, the video quality that comes out of them is superb, but
Yes.
the friggin' compression just sucks the life out of them if you're not watching it in 1080p. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
god, I can't stand it.
Yeah. He same guy just recently watched his video, Justin Rivas. He was talking about how he uh his one of his videos on Facebook, because he was saying a lot of people for video, they sleep
Oh,
on Facebook. And he was saying like he got so many millions of views just for whatever, and just another more recent kind of viral video about something dealing with his local hometown. They've done like a lot of stuff. So like, far as I can tell,
Yeah,
it's
I
legit.
need to I need to start investigating the whole Facebook thing as far as video goes. Like, oh, and that's enough. Well, I'm kind of gonna have to start over with Facebook because
Yeah.
not that I've been doing a lot of work on Facebook anyway, but
Mm-hmm.
since I just decided that I need to rebrand, um, like, cause like, all right, so technically I have two companies. Like it's really just me, so it's not really like two
Oh,
companies, but
I
like
know how
two
you
brands.
what you
So
yeah.
so it's like, so there's me, Alex Minor, as a person, but then like for my corporate work, I work under the company name Heroes for Hire.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a contractor, I don't work for these companies, like I
Yep.
subcontract to them. So
Okay.
all the paperwork is Heroes for Hire LLC. So on the video side, I was starting up a new brand because I didn't want to put it under Heroes for Hire.
Right.
Like,
Right.
even though I could have, like, I just felt like it needed to be separate from that, especially like if I'm trying to write it out on a resume and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't want to lump all that work together. So I started Hero Vision. But like, if you can't tell, I'm a big comic book fan. Like, I got on a Nick Fury shirt right now.
Okay. Okay.
Um, like, I'm a big nerd. Um, but so I started Hero Vision to brand my film work, but now it's like I'm kind of feeling like that doesn't really fit, and technically I let the paperwork lapse on Heroes for Hire, so I feel like I need, like, I gotta do something new anyway.
Mm-hmm.
um and so like I'm working on my vision for my new brand.
Got you.
And like
Got
you
you.
saw a preview, but I think
Yeah.
I and so like, and the thing is, like, when I launched the new brand for the film stuff, I'm thinking about rebranding my YouTube channel too. Like, all the same content will still be there, and
Mm-hmm.
every video will still be introduced. What's going on, world? It's your boy Alex Minor, because
Yep.
I believe in consistency.
Yep.
But I just changed the channel name because one thing that I messed myself up on, and I should have known better, was when I made the channel. Like last year, I started changed my logo and put my name out there as ALXMNR. And
Yep.
whenever I'm trying to tell somebody my social media stuff, I get all effed up. So that was a big mistake on my part, because like nobody can remember how to spell it. So like I shot myself in the foot with
Yeah.
that one, and I should have known better. My wife's a social media specialist. Um, but yeah, so that's another reason for the rebrand, because I just wanted to make it easier for people to find my shit.
Got you. Feel you. It's just like I know we had talked a little bit about that before. It's just talking about when it comes to the rebranding and the stuff like that, and just over time your vision changes, you refine stuff, and telling you like the rundown of my channel names of or just what I would say. So you on any video, I don't know what you're gonna see in the beginning because it changes, or what I say changes, or how I do something changes. So I think just like it kind of takes it back to the very first point that you made, and I guess we kind of land the plane after this. But it's like from the first thing that you said was like plan A can work, but you got to be committed to making plan A work. It's like essentially you
Mhm.
still going to get there. You may change your shoes, your socks, essentially the name, the branding, and
And
all
the
that
thing is,
stuff. You know,
plan A can change. Like, the thing is,
mm,
when you make plan A don't have to stay the original plan A.
got
You
you.
know what I'm saying? Like, because like you said, things change, life changes, people evolve. Like, you may have gone full force into something thinking like, yo, this is my shit. This is gonna be my shit for life, and nothing else will ever matter to me except this. And then you get knees deep in it, and you're like, oh my god, what did I
This is
do?
not it.
Like, yeah, let me turn the car around real quick. This road is
Right.
not for me. So plan A can change, but whenever you make your plan A, just commit to it and throw everything that you got at it. Not saying that you should end up on the street, but like, just don't limit yourself to the normal conventions of society in pursuit of your plan A, is pretty much all I'm saying. Like, Like just because people think that you need to go to school to get a good job, like, all right, I'm gonna put on my rapper hat for a second, because I wrote this song years ago, just exactly about this. So I always like to quote this to people. They told me go to school, get a job, get a car, get a house, get a spouse, young nigga. That's what life's about. So I did. It's like at least 3 steps out of the 5. Now I'm effed and I don't know how I'ma survive. I had, like that's like that was my story. That's what really happened. It was like they told me go to school, get a job, get a car, get a house, get a spouse, like the American dream. And like because that's what had been preached to me all my life, I was trying to follow that road map, but that roadmap directly conflicted with the I want to be a rapper dream. You know what I'm saying? So and trying to do both, or to have a plan B, which like going to school was the plan B, and like majoring in first it was music engineering at Hampton University, and then it was going to Full Sail. I don't regret going to Full Sail at all. Actually, I don't regret any of it because I might regret some shit I did after school, but like I don't regret the school experience because honestly the people I met there heavily influenced my music and the person that I became. So I don't really regret that. Just some personal decisions made along the way after that. So but and like I said, being stuck in that mindset of you got to go to school so that you can get a good job, so that you can be safe. Like there is no safety. That's the other important lesson that I learned. So it's like 3 lessons that I've learned. 1, plan A can work. 2, you don't have to follow the rules. And 3, dang it, I just thought 3 and I've already lost 3. They say the mind is the first thing to go. And what was 3? I just had 3. Dang,
it'll come back to you.
So, but yeah, oh god, that's so embarrassing.
No safety.
My old age. Yes.
Somebody so you thank the modern anti-federalists in the chat for hooking you up there.
And to answer your question, modern anti-federalist, that name is a mouthful,
man.
What I'm doing as far as the camera, it's my GH5 going into a cam link into the computer, and the GH5 is set on 1080p, not even 4K. And one thing people need to know that a lot of people probably don't know is that the GH5 has some of the most gorgeous 1080p that I have ever seen. I'm not even doing 10-bit right now. Like I'm doing the 8-bit 1080p, and like the I don't know what the sensor does different when you're doing 1080p, but it has this distinct look in its 1080p that I love. Like before I upgraded to the GH5, I would never shoot 1080p. Like on the G85 and G7, I did not like the look of the 1080p. Like 4K, you can put those cameras right next to each other and most people won't be able to tell the difference. But 1080p, the GH5 does something special. And it's like other than like the 1DX Mark II, like that's like the best 1080p that I've seen out of a camera.
Wow. Man. So 3 things to land the plane. That plan A can work. You don't have to go the conventional route. And there is no safety net, or how would you pose exactly number 3?
I mean, just say like Busta Rhymes said, it ain't safe no more. When our parents were coming up, you could work for a company for 30 years and expect that you're gonna be able to retire and have that retirement plan.
Yeah.
And actually, my mama just retired last year, I think, maybe the year before last. But my mama just retired. Got that good government pension going on, unless they shut down again.
It's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but yeah, so like they could do that. We
Mm-hmm.
can't. Like business don't operate the same no more. These companies don't care about you no more.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the big companies ever really cared about you, but you could still kind of depend on having a job and getting that retirement and that sort of thing. But these days, like, to climb the corporate ladder, you got to jump from company to company because it's a very rare thing these days to actually get somewhere being promoted from within. Um, Even if you're not trying to be a CEO, even if you're just trying to be like a highly paid specialist, if you
Yeah.
want to make more money and be more successful, you got to jump from company to company. I got a friend in New York City who runs his own digital marketing agency. Started out as a web page designer and SEO specialist, freelancing for little companies. And then when he decided that being a rapper was a dead end job, although he was way more successful than I ever was, um, he started actually working full time for companies. But then every couple of years, he jumped from one company to another. But every time he did, it was an upgrade in position,
Mm-hmm.
and he eventually ended up being like the director of owned media, whatever that means, at this big digital marketing agency in New York. But he eventually stepped out on his own because he was like, I just don't like the way people do these things, and I hate having to fight against anybody else to do things what I think is the right way. And so he stepped out on his own by himself, started his agency as a one-man thing. Now he got, I don't even know how much of a staff he got, but he's got a full staff. And a couple years ago, he ended up buying one of my favorite hip hop retail websites that was about to go out of business
Mm.
because he still cares about hip hop and he wanted to save it. He stepped in, figured out a way to revitalize them and revamp their web presence and all that digital magic stuff that he does for big brands. So I mean, he celebrated his 2-year company anniversary on a yacht, so I guess he's making money.
Wow, man.
Yeah. And he used to be a broke underground rapper who
Right.
traveled the entire company with a fake Greyhound pass.
The fake.
I am not lying. Him and my boy Dose, who is now a successful lawyer in Philadelphia, and also used to be a broke underground rapper. They made fake Ameripasses for Greyhound and toured the country on Greyhound with fake bus passes until I think they were in like Seattle or California or something, and somebody spotted that their passes were a fake, and Mike got held up a little bit while Dose disappeared and reappeared with a sandwich later when it was safe.
Man, look. That's the way to go. Just fade off and come back. You know, where about, hey man, I'll see you. Let me know 2 hours. That'll be enough. 2 hours. All right, I will be back. No, that's
Yeah,
correct. But in
with the
pursuit of the
sandwich.
dream, with the sandwich. But you know, I guess at the end of the day, in pursuit of your dreams, you'll do whatever it takes. Is this network marketing coach and just like a phenomenal speaker. I don't even know if he speaks anymore, if he actively works network marketing, because he definitely made enough money he doesn't have to. But he has his training, and he said that you have to you have to be committed to it. You have to burn the ships, essentially burn the ships, and that
Yep. I
what
think that's
work
what
will,
like the
it'll work if
Vikings
you
used
work
to
it.
do. I think that's what the Vikings used to do when they were invading. Get there, get off the ship, burn the ship. Now your soldiers can't turn back.
Mm-hmm. And with that, if you didn't get enough to get your butt on fire to get to work, I don't know what to tell you, Alex. It's been such a pleasure to have you here. I know we caught you right off the road, literally, but tell the people where they can find you at, what you got going on next, and just like your links and all that. I'll link it down below. Let the people know where they can find you at.
All right. The best place to find me is on YouTube, youtube.com/ALXMNR, Alex Minor without most of the vowels. Um, I know. It was a late night decision one night. I was like, yes, this logo will look really cool if I just take out the vowels. And I still think it looks cool, but it's like, as far as like making it easy for people to find me online, like I wasn't thinking it through. So youtube.com/Alex Minor, no vowels. And then on Instagram, Alex Minor Music, or Hero Vision, where vision is spelled with a Z. Actually, no, I just changed that. So see, I'm not thinking this thing through. Like
we'll drop the links down below. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll make sure you get all the links down below and up in the YouTube card.
Yeah, and the rebrand is gonna come sooner than later, probably in the next few weeks. I just gotta do the final decision on this logo and name, and then I think we definitely gotta. And I got to make a video for the channel announcing that the change is going to happen before it happens, so everybody's not confused when I show up in their inbox like, hey.
Right.
But
gotcha.
yes, so trying to be smarter about these things. And so just ALX MNR, if you Google that, something will show up.
Got you. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much again, Alex, for being here. If you're watching this live on the replay, you made it all the way through to the end of this content. Make sure you go ahead and drop a like, comment. If you're into content like this, you want to know more about, what Alex is doing, any product reviews or any projects that he has coming, make sure you subscribe to his channel. It's already linked up above in the YouTube card, as well as down in the description, as well as follow him on his social media handles. But guys, thanks so much for being here on Entree Woman TV. And I hope that you got plenty of value out of today's content. And as always, my friends, live with passion. I'll see you on the next video. Alex, again, thanks so much for being here.
Yo, thank you for inviting me. I know we have been talking for a while about needing to do something together, and it's great to finally do it.
Awesome. All right, guys, take care, everybody. Have a great day.